After 7 years of marriage, I went back to age 17 with my husband. In the principal's office, he held his first love in his arms and roared, "Call the police. Check the security footage. I'll expose your true bullying nature in front of everyone." I turned around and opened the door. "I already called." "You're welcome." The next moment, a single sentence from an officer left him completely dumbfounded. "Hello everyone. Welcome to Empress Revenge Stories. Next, let's begin this story. My husband, Wei Shang, was reborn back to the year we were 17. In the principal's office, he defended his first love, the girl who had bullied me at school. He held her in his arms and roared as if in a melodrama, "Call the police. Check the security footage. This time, I will expose your true colors in front of everyone." Having also been reborn, I turned around and opened the door for the police. "I already called for you on the way here." "You're welcome, idiot." In the bathroom of the old teaching building, Ji Xiao hummed a tune as she pressed a cigarette butt onto my shoulder to the sound of running water. "Shinran, I'm warning you. Don't think you can hang around Brother Chang just because Wei Yi likes you. You're nothing but a dog that the Wei family threw a bone to." Ji Xiao was my husband's younger sister, or rather, my mother-in-law's adopted daughter, Wei Yi, a.k.a. the Wei Yi Ji Xiao referred to, was a woman dedicated to charity, sponsoring many poor children who had dropped out of school. I was one of them. At the opening ceremony of my first year of high school, I was chosen to give a speech as the top-scoring student of the entrance exams. Wei Yi, who was a school board member, recognized me from the front row. Delighted, she asked me to tutor her son, also my classmate, Wei Shang. I agreed. I thought it was just a normal act of gratitude. But Ji Xiao, who had a secret crush on her adoptive brother, clearly thought otherwise. She began to bully me, slapping, tearing up my homework, putting razor blades in my desk, throwing lime powder into my water bottle, and following me home after school with a gang of thugs. I endured it all, not wanting to make things difficult for Wei Yi. But before she died, she told me the truth. She had known all along. From the very beginning, she had watched me struggle in the abyss from her lofty perch, treating every suffering I endured as a necessary step to becoming a qualified daughter-in-law. She said she was very satisfied, because I had turned out exactly as she had envisioned. Loyal, capable, and patient, like a well-trained dog. It was worth it for her to have forced Wei Shang to get engaged to me when I became the provincial science champion. "Cat got your tongue. Answer me." Ji Xiao suddenly slapped me across the face. The pain jolted me awake. I suddenly realized that this was not just another nightmare, but a real chance to change everything through rebirth. My fingers trembled uncontrollably at the realization. Ji Xiao tried to grab my hair. I seized her wrist. "Are you sure no one will come by here?" "Of course not." Ji Xiao smirked triumphantly. "I've posted people at the stairwells. Don't expect any teacher to come save you." "Perfect." I twisted her wrist, and as she screamed in pain, I dragged her into a stall and forced her face into the toilet bowl. Ji Xiao struggled frantically beneath me, but she couldn't budge my hand. I was a poor girl from a mountain village, used to chopping wood and cutting grass since childhood. When it came to strength, how could the pampered Ji Xiao ever be a match for me? I grabbed her long hair, lifted her head, and smiled. "How's the toilet water?" Ji Xiao's lips trembled, her eyeliner running. She tried to scream, and I forced her head back down, this time longer. When I pulled her up again, she was much more subdued, no longer daring to shout, only sobbing quietly. "I'm going to tell the teacher you're bullying me. Shinran, you're going to be expelled." I'd welcome it. I dragged her out by her hair. "Go ahead, but remember this, Ji Xiao, as long as I'm in this school, every day will be like this for you. You will never have it easy." Those were the same words she had once said to me in my past life. Now, I was giving them back to her. Ji Xiao ran off, crying. I knew she was going to tattle. Compared to a poor student like me, Miss Ji Xiao could, of course, complain whenever she wanted. I didn't bother with her. I returned to the stall and slammed my arm against the water pipe jutting out from the wall. I was reunited with the Wei family early, not at my engagement party, but in the principal's office. Look what Shinran did to Xiao Xiao. I don't care about any excuses. Shinran has to be expelled today. Wei Sheng roared at the principal. Ji Xiao Xiao trembled in his arms. Her clothes soaked through. Her soft, youthful curves clearly visible. Wei Yi sat on the sofa in her elegant attire, glittering with jewels. Silent, but her mere presence was a statement. Now, Wei Sheng. Let's not jump to conclusions before we know the facts, the principal said, abandoning his usual sycophantic attitude toward Wei Yi and calmly trying to smooth things over. What did you say? Wei Sheng thundered. Just then, the door creaked open. The homeroom teacher carefully helped me inside. One corner of my mouth was bruised. My right arm was in a sling and a cast, and the torn collar of my shirt exposed several red, festering cigarette burns. Wei Sheng went silent, like a goose suddenly grabbed by the neck. Wei Yi's eyes widened in shock. Ji Xiao Xiao nearly jumped out of Wei Sheng's arms. You, Aunt Wei, I said, nodding to Wei Yi. I'm sorry we have to meet like this. What happened? Wei Yi came over, taking my uninjured hand, her expression full of concern. Tell me the truth, dear. I bit my lip, hesitating. Wei Yi's tone grew firmer. Tell me. I pointed. Ji Xiao Xiao. Ji Xiao Xiao. She screamed. She's lying. She hit me. Aunt Wei. My clothes are all wet. Ji Xiao Xiao dragged me to the bathroom after school, had her friends guard the stairwell, tore my clothes, burned me with her cigarette, and called me a whore. My voice was steady. I didn't hit her. Her clothes got wet because she broke the water pipe when she pushed me. Ji Xiao Xiao lunged at me. I didn't. You broke your own arm to frame me. I said nothing. My eyes drifted to her pocket. Her wet clothes were almost see-through, and the red pack of cigarettes and lighter inside were clearly visible. Wei Yi looked uneasy. She stepped forward, pulled the pack and lighter from Ji Xiao Xiao's pocket, and threw them on the floor. The bright red pack seemed to mock her. Still lying. Are you saying Shinran burned herself to frame you? 2. Wei Yi slapped Ji Xiao Xiao across the face. Apologized to Shinran. Wei Yi had always valued propriety and grace, believing violence was for brutes. For her to hit Ji Xiao Xiao herself, she must have been furious. Stunned by the slap, Ji Xiao Xiao cried, Aunt Wei, you're hitting me for her. She buried her face in Wei Sheng's chest and wailed. Wei Sheng looked up, his eyes full of disappointment as he gazed at his mother. Mom, I know you like Shinran, but Xiao Xiao is family. How can you hit her based on Shinran's word alone? He held Ji Xiao Xiao and roared as if in some old-fashioned melodrama. Call the police. Check the security footage. This time, I'll expose your true colors in front of everyone. As he spoke, he shot me a look filled with years of resentment, a look that shouldn't have been on the face of a 17-year-old Wei Sheng. My heart began to race. After so many years as husband and wife, I needed no more proof. That one look told me everything. Wei Sheng had also been reborn. Good. I smiled. Debts must be paid. The harm Wei Sheng had done to me in the past life should be repaid by that same Wei Sheng. Just then, a timely knock came at the door. Without looking back at the pair of star-crossed lovers on the floor, I walked past them and opened the door for the police. I already called for you on the way here. You're welcome, idiot. The police acted quickly. Following Wei Sheng's demands, they carefully reviewed the past hour of security footage from the school's cameras, and they actually found one that could see into that bathroom. In the summer, it was blocked by the wide, dense leaves of the plane trees along the street, but in the fall and winter, when the leaves fell, it could just see into the bathroom window, though only the window. It captured Ji Xiao Xiao pressing her cigarette into my shoulder, but not what happened afterward. Also, because Ji Xiao Xiao and I were roughly the same size, and the bathroom was flooded by the broken pipe, any footprints were completely smeared, so the scene analysis could only conclude that someone had fought there. Whether they could tell who had hit whom, well, a little research would show that forensic technology hadn't yet reached that level. However, they did find Ji Xiao Xiao's fingerprints and saliva on the cigarette butts, and the security cameras also caught the girls she'd stationed at the stairwells. Their mental fortitude was limited. A few intimidating words from the police, and they confessed to everything. They also revealed quite a few of Ji Xiaoxiao's past achievements in bullying others. I wasn't the first person Ji Xiaoxiao had targeted. Any girl who got close to Wei Sheng had fallen victim to her. One girl in Wei Sheng's class, very shy and introverted, had been the target of a few jokes from Wei Sheng about her figure. Ji Xiaoxiao had hired thugs to rape her. The girl had attempted suicide multiple times and was still on leave from school for psychological reasons. Ji Xiaoxiao couldn't accept the result. She pushed past everyone, ran to the monitors, and reviewed the footage again and again. How can this be? What a coincidence. You must have conspired together. The officer she'd pushed looked displeased. Young lady, how can you talk like that? We haven't exchanged a single word with the complainant since we arrived. How could we have conspired? Ji Xiaoxiao had no answer. She buried her face in her arms and sobbed. I stood coldly at the back of the crowd, watching the drama as if it had nothing to do with me. The secret of the security camera was something I'd discovered in my past life. When I was asked to donate to renovate the school as an outstanding graduate, I hadn't wanted to endorse a school filled with such painful memories. But Ji Xiaoxiao knew how to make me suffer. She'd convinced Wei Yi and Wei Sheng, and the whole family had pressured me into it. So you see, everything has its cause and effect. Justice may be slow, but it comes. Wei Sheng was stunned. In less than an hour, the first love he'd obsessed over for a lifetime had shattered into pieces before his eyes. He was broken. He squatted on the floor, pulling at his hair. How can this be? How can this be? It wasn't supposed to be like this. He suddenly looked up, his eyes red, and screamed at me. Did you do this? It was all you, wasn't it? What did I do to her? Did I take her hand and press it into my shoulder? I asked coldly. Wei Sheng was speechless. In my past life, I was still his wife, Wei Yi's designated successor, the CEO of Wei Corporation. At that time, I had power and influence, like the villainous female second lead in a romance novel. So of course, Wei Sheng could blame everything on me without a second thought. If Ji Xiaoxiao suffered, it was my fault, because I was such a cruel, malicious woman. If Ji Xiaoxiao harmed someone else, it was also my fault, because I was jealous of her purity and beauty. So I must have set her up. But now, I had nothing, and Ji Xiaoxiao was still the same rotten seed to the core. No one needed to frame her. She had always been this bad. Watching Ji Xiaoxiao being led away by the police with her arms twisted behind her back, Wei Sheng suddenly covered his face and laughed, tears falling through his fingers. The laughter grew louder and louder, until it turned into sobs. Wei Yi, frightened, rushed to steady her. Wei Sheng pushed her hand away and ran out. I watched as Ji Xiaoxiao was shoved into the police car, still screaming. Assault, incitement to crime, false accusation, defamation, hiring thugs to cause harm. At 17, with the especially egregious nature of her crimes, Ji Xiaoxiao was definitely going away for a few years. No one could save her. My arm had a hairline fracture, classified as a minor injury. If I chose to press charges, the Wei family would have to pay me at least 200,000 yuan. Wei Yi said she would give me 1 million, as long as I wrote a letter of forgiveness and voluntarily dropped the criminal charges against Ji Xiaoxiao. 1 million. I would pay 1 million to send Ji Xiaoxiao to jail. Why watch an innocent person suffer injustice when you can see the guilty get what they deserve? After I refused, Wei Yi's face darkened. She said, Shinran, how have you become like this? I'm very disappointed. I snorted. Like anyone cared. I knew Wei Yi's personality well. Having been humiliated, she would definitely teach me a lesson. A mistake meant the whip. Good behavior might earn a treat. Wei Yi was a master at training dogs. Sure enough, the next day, the homeroom teacher called to tell me my financial aid had been cut off and that I needed to bring next year's tuition when I returned to school. See, Wei Yi was a businesswoman. She knew exactly where to strike. Tuition was 5,000 yuan a year. Between scholarships and what I could earn working odd jobs during breaks, I barely managed. My first year scholarship hadn't been paid yet. Where was I supposed to find 5,000 yuan? Without the monthly aid, I would soon be unable to afford food. Wei Yi's intention was clear. She wanted me to cave, but she had underestimated me. 5,000 yuan might push a desperate student with no marketable skills over the edge. But it wouldn't break a skilled programmer with a full theoretical foundation and over 20 years of professional experience. In my past life, I had started from nothing and single-handedly transformed the failing Wei Corporation into a leading technology company. Now, faced with a wide-open IT industry, with the knowledge of its development for the next 2 decades, it would be a crime to do nothing. I took a deep breath as I walked out into the morning sun. The world felt wide open. A long-dormant sense of ambition surged within me. I took a month's medical leave. I found an internet cafe downstairs and rented a private room. In 7 days, I wrote 3 bootstrapping algorithms. On the 8th day, I took a USB drive and went alone to a dilapidated office building in the up-and-coming business district. The inhabitant was named Shinkei. He was unshaven, with hair like a bird's nest, looking even less put together than his building. But I knew that his name would one day be known by every speaker of simplified Chinese. The search engine he developed was based entirely on Chinese language logic, and it was widely agreed to be the best user experience for Chinese netizens. However, due to a block in a key technological bottleneck, it was released a full year later than its foreign counterpart. Not only did it miss the first mover advantage, its usage rates were low, and it was constantly accused of plagiarism without evidence. I know you're missing 5 algorithms. I sat across from Shinkei, his eyes wide with shock, and tried to look like a big shot. I placed the USB drive on the table. There are 3 here. If you agree to my terms, I'll write the other 2 for you. Shinkei confirmed I wasn't joking. He turned and shouted into the other room. A smiling, pudgy man who looked like a Buddha rolled in. Lao Shin. Shinkei tossed him the USB. Try it out. No way. You're serious. This girl's not even an adult. Talk about a Hail Mary. The pudgy man was glared at by both me and Shinkei. Muttering to himself, he left with the drive. 10 minutes later, he came rushing back in, his face red. Done. Lao Shin. It works. Local deployment now takes just 8 minutes. He pulled Shinkei from his chair, dancing and laughing around the room. Shinkei looked over his shoulder at me as if he'd seen a ghost. Cross-platform works, Windows, Linux, and Mac OS all run it fine. At this rate, we can have a launch event in 3 months. 3 months is too slow. I hadn't eaten breakfast to save money and was nibbling on a pastry Shinkei had given me. I remembered the search engine that would overshadow his for a lifetime. The one also launching in about 3 months. I felt uneasy. If possible, you should hold the launch event in 2 months. Announce the big picture first. You can patch the details later. The priority is capturing the market. I added, swallowing the pastry. If you need more hands, I can help. The pudgy man beamed. Little sister, with you saying that, I'm relieved. Whatever you say, will do. I'm on board. No questions asked. Shinkei still had some rationality. He pushed the pudgy man aside, his expression serious. You haven't said what your terms are. I slowly held up one hand. Fingers spread. 50,000. The pudgy man guessed. I shook my head. 500,000. 5 million. I continued shaking my head. Don't tell me. 500 million. The pudgy man looked helplessly at Shinkei. Shinkei nodded, looking equally nervous. 500 million, after the software launches. It might not be entirely impossible, but certainly not now. Were these 2 for real? 5,000. I kept my expression blank, maintaining my big shot demeanor as I looked down at them. Cash. Quickly. I need it for tuition. Shinkei transferred 50,000 to me. After learning of my situation, he took me to the bank, opened a new account, deposited the money, and gave me 15,000 in cash. I lived in a gritty urban village. Shinkei insisted on driving me home himself, refusing to let a minor carrying a large sum of money take a taxi. When his flashy red Ferrari stopped outside the narrow lane to my place, the entire village buzzed. Ran. Who's this? The landlady, old Mrs. Liu, sat in a low chair outside, soaking up the sun. Her beady eyes sparkled as she looked me and Shinkei over, implying something unsavory. My second uncle, just passing through on a business trip to check on me. I ad-libbied. naturally shoving a bag of discounted eggs I'd bought into Shinkei's hands. Shinkei was a natural actor. He immediately went along with it, handing out eggs to the neighbors. The school called me, said she was hurt. I was nearby, so I came by, bought a little something for everyone. It's nothing much. Thank you all for looking after my niece. Clutching the free eggs. Old Mrs. Lu's suspicions faded, but she wasn't quite done. Your second uncle. He's pretty well off. Huh, driving such a nice car on a business trip. Ah, it's the boss's car. I'm just a driver. Shinkei replied without missing a beat. Second uncle. Hurry up, put the stuff inside, and get going. Your boss's meeting might end soon, and you have to pick him up. Shinkei nodded, pulling 2 cartons of milk, a bag of vegetables, and a large bag of mix-and-match snacks from the trunk. The chubby baby on the package, wearing just a tank top and shorts, looked cheerfully festive. Anyone with dirty thoughts would have to reflect on their own sordid minds before that big-eyed stare. With no gossip to be had, the crowd dispersed. Once inside, Shinkei gave me a knowing half-smile. Second uncle. Who else? I kept my composure. A high school girl and her sugar daddy. I still have a reputation to maintain. And you don't want the village gossip network making up stories about you, do you? Good point. I'll stick with second uncle. Shinkei nodded in agreement, then ruffled my hair into the same mess as his. Before I could scratch him, he laughed, let go, and headed for the door. Second uncle is leaving. Take care. Get lost. Shinkei didn't get far. As he opened the door, a gray figure lunged at him, grabbing his collar. Shinkei, despite his unkempt appearance, was a healthy 6 feet tall. He kicked the person 2 meters away. Who the hell are you? The man scrambled to his feet. I recognized his face. Of course, it was Wei Shang. He hadn't expected anyone to be at my place. He looked at Shinkei, frowning. Who are you? What are you doing at Shinron's place? Hearing my name, Shinkei looked at me. Know him. Rule of the village. Any commotion, the whole street hears. I watched as people gathered, whispering about Wei Shang and me. Annoying. Yeah, Wei Shang. The brother of the girl who hit me. He's probably here to cause trouble. I couldn't very well say. My ex-husband from my past life. I stuck to what was plausible. Shinkei nodded and naturally stepped back, pushing me behind him. Wei Shang's eyes widened, seeing me holding Shinkei's arm. He snapped. Shinron. Who is this man? None of your business. I shot back, annoyed. None of my business. I'm your. Wei Shang couldn't get the words out. His eyes reddened. I held my new phone, staring coldly at her. If he dared utter anything as disgusting as husband, I'd have him committed for delusions and sue him for defamation. Showing up at my door in broad daylight, acting as if I'd been cheating on him, people would get the wrong idea. It would tarnish my reputation. I stepped protectively in front of Shinkei. This is my business. Leave him out of it. What if Wei Shang went crazy and attacked him? Wei Shang watched our interaction, his face murderous. He reached for me, but Shinkei was faster. He blocked Wei Shang's arm and pushed him back. You want to know who I am? Shinkei lifted his chin, proudly announcing, I'm Shinron's second uncle. Okay. I stepped back and let him take the stage. Hey, kid, what's your problem? Your sister beat up my niece, and we haven't even settled that yet. And here you are, causing a scene at my house. That's not. Look, this is between me and Shinron. Let her come out. Wei Shang couldn't get a word out. He just shouted at me. All right. Ran. Show everyone. Shinkei grabbed my arm, still in its sling and cast, and proudly displayed it to the onlookers. Look at this. Look what your family did to her. Shinkei was definitely an exhibitionist. The crowd gathered. Oh my. A cast. That must be a fracture. Such a young girl. And so vicious. Didn't her parents teach her? You're right. Any decent family wouldn't have their daughter beat someone up and then have her brother show up to cause trouble. Little punk. Don't you dare come to our neighborhood causing trouble. I recognize that uniform. He goes to Chunchao Experimental High. Let's report him to his school tomorrow. Yes. Let's go together. Wei Shang's face went from red to pale. Finally, he glared at Shinkei. grinding his teeth. I don't believe you. Shinran's an orphan. Where would she get a second uncle? What do you mean? I feigned offense, sneering. Just because I'm an orphan, my whole family has to be dead. Wei Shang's face turned purple. He had no reply. I had no second uncle. I had no living relatives. Just like my parents. After they died, I couldn't even find a guardian. That was part of why the Wei family had been able to manipulate me so easily. I knew that Wei Shang, having been reborn, knew it too. But at this point in time, the original Wei Shang had no reason to know. So Wei Shang, who knew everything, could only stand there speechless. Shin Kei played along beautifully. Right. Even beggars have 3 relatives. How can I not be her second uncle? Have a little hope for people, won't you? You don't believe me, whatever. We don't care what you believe. Did anyone ask you? I see. Looking at you. Your family tree must be pretty thin. You probably don't even know what second means. Tell you what, I'll lend you 2 yuan. You can go to the corner store and figure it out on one of those coin-operated rides. I snorted. Shin Kei was really good at getting under people's skin. Wei Shang was clearly rattled. Even more so after I laughed. He looked at me with reddened eyes. Shinran, my mother sponsored your education. She's been good to you. And you let some stranger treat me like this. I laughed humorlessly. You can't take it. Wei Shang. You never once stood up for me. Your sister bullied me. Your mother exploited me. You knew we didn't want the marriage. But you also knew you were a failure. That you needed me to maintain the image of Wei Corporation's CEO. You refused to let me go. All while acting as if you were the one suffering. Doing everything you could to put me down. My life was hell. My talents became a cage. My suffering meant nothing. So now, it's your turn. Wei Shang's eyes grew wet. He whispered, so you're getting revenge. Shinran, since you know that, stay away from me. Your mother sponsored me. I'm grateful. But your sister broke my arm and didn't pay a cent in compensation. Did she? Isn't that enough? I pulled out the money I'd counted earlier, 13,000 yuan. 3 years of sponsorship. 2 years tuition and 1,000 a year for expenses. It's all here. Take it back. From now on, I don't owe your family anything. Don't let me see you again. Wei Shang stumbled off, laughing and crying. After finishing the remaining 2 algorithms for Shin Kei, I returned to school. My arm was healing well, the doctors said. With care and no heavy lifting for a year, I shouldn't have any lasting problems. Ji Xiaoxiao was still in school, not surprising. The case was still being prosecuted. Wei Yi had probably gotten her out on bail. But Wei Shang's seat was empty. The classroom went quiet when I walked in. Ji Xiaoxiao, whispering with a few girls, raised her voice. I saw Shinran get out of a car with a man she didn't know. Oh my god. Really? Yeah, that's so. Shinran, I never would have guessed. Her grades are so good. But her private life is so messy. Yeah, so gross. Ji Xiaoxiao's voice carried. Many people heard. I felt the stares, heard the whispers. She gave me a smug look and called out, Shinran, is it true? I rolled my eyes and stepped aside, revealing the homeroom teacher behind me, his face like thunder. You tell me, teacher. He glared at Ji Xiaoxiao. Ji Xiaoxiao, this is a classroom. If you don't want to study, get out. Her face went from red to pale. Everyone knew she was a wealthy school board member's adopted daughter. To see the teacher, who usually turned a blind eye, go after her like that, they were shocked. I walked to my desk and put down my bag. My desk mate and the girl in front of me helped me clean off the mountain of papers that had accumulated. My desk mate whispered, be careful. Shinran, Ji Xiaoxiao is glaring at you. I looked up. She was grinding her teeth. I raised my water bottle in a toast, mouthing, good. It must not have been, because Ji Xiaoxiao got sick, vomiting loudly. The teacher had to send her to the nurse's office and call Wei Yi in front of the class. But Wei Yi was busy, so he got her secretary instead. No one came to see Ji Xiaoxiao, the brother and adoptive mother who had once been so attentive, so quick to come to her defense, had vanished. The class talked. I drank my water, indifferent, a faint smile on my lips. From the signs, Wei Yi's patience with her troublesome adopted daughter was nearing its limit. After all, Wei Shang and Ji Xiaoxiao had been all over each other in the principal's office. In plain view, anyone with eyes could see their relationship went beyond normal sibling affection. Wei Yi guarded her son jealously. She wouldn't risk his reputation on a hint of incest, even if they weren't blood-related. But people who didn't know the details wouldn't think that far. They'd just assume Ji Xiaoxiao had fallen out of favor. I returned from the teacher's office with an application for the provincial math competition. The girls who had been whispering with Ji Xiaoxiao were at it again. So she really did sleep with her brother. Must be true. Why else would she attack any girl he talks to? The ringleader, her lips glossy, made sure Ji Xiaoxiao wasn't in the room. Did you know? My aunt said Ji Xiaoxiao is going to jail. Why? The others gasped. She beat up Shinran, and Shinran called the cops. Then the affair came out. She only got away with everything because of her mother's influence. Now that her mother won't help, the cops found out about all her crimes. She lowered her voice. Remember Qiu Pingping from class 4 last year? The one who almost jumped. She was set up, and then she tried to kill herself. My aunt works at the police station. She says Ji Xiaoxiao is definitely going to prison. Even the juvenile protection law won't help her. Shut up. Ji Xiaoxiao had just come in. She flew at the girl, slapping her. The girl, stunned, glared back. How dare you hit me? The others joined in. Yeah, you can't stop people from talking about what you did. You're so cruel. Ji Xiaoxiao, who do you think you are? Nothing. They surrounded her, shouting. She shook, speechless with rage. She tried to fight back, but she was outnumbered. They dragged her by her hair to the girls' bathroom. People pointed and laughed. No one helped. Her sobs echoed down the hall. I looked away and sat down at my desk. When the queen hyena is wounded, her pack turns on her. Without Wei Yi's protection, Ji Xiaoxiao was nothing, just more meat for the dogs she had raised. You reap what you sow. There's nothing new under the sun. I got my cast off 2 weeks later. 5 days after that, I took the school's internal qualifier for the provincial competition. I got first place. As expected, after the competition, I went, trophy in hand, to the launch of the new search engine. It was named Ji. From the old saying, to know is to know, not to know is not to know. Shin-Kei had shaved and put gel in his hair. Nervous but passionate, he spoke into the mic. I hope everyone in IT can uphold this ideal. Be grounded and never forget your original intention. The applause was thunderous. I sat in the front row, my nameplate reading, technical advisor. The era still loved prodigies, especially young female ones. My photo hit the papers. Soon, my story with the Wei family was dug up, including the stalled court case between Ji Xiaoxiao and me, provincial math champion, poor student biting the hand that fed her, the unsavory picture of the Wei family using their charity as leverage, and the hint of rich family scandal, all of it made for great gossip. Ji got a boost in popularity, which was fine with me. Shin-Kei had given me shares. Free publicity was just free money. When it came to young people's education, Shin-Kei was as stubborn as an old father. He became my legal guardian, turned down all interview requests for me, and even accompanied me to court for my case with Ji Xiaoxiao. He was as protective as a mother hen. The pudgy man and I both thought his fatherly attitude must come from his habit of being second uncle. But Shin-Kei didn't agree. Wei Yi wasn't in court. The reborn Wei Shang, having knowledge of the future, had convinced her to invest heavily in the foreign company that had, in the past life, released its search engine before Shin-Kei. They'd almost exhausted their liquid assets. Now, with Ji beating them to the punch, the stock was worthless, and Wei Yi was on the brink of bankruptcy. She had no time for Ji Xiaoxiao. The court had to provide her lawyer. Ji Xiaoxiao was sentenced to 6 years. Publicity had made the case more severe. She got the maximum possible sentence. When the gavel fell, the girl who had sat silently beside me in the plaintiff's seat, in a cap and mask, took them off and hugged me, sobbing. I held her, thin, gaunt, nothing like her former full figure, and patted her back. A gray sparrow perched on the skylight, tilted its head, and then flew away. It was a rare good day in that long, cold winter. After hearing this story, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your feelings in the comments. I look forward to hearing your voice.